Hello, everybody, and welcome to Oh Baby a Triple, the TV show turned radio show turned podcast turned live stream. My name is Corey McCrae, and I'm one of your hosts. And I am very excited about today's theme.
It's a very special episode.
It's a very special, very special theme. Why don't we go next down the intro?
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I'm uninitiated, as you could tell that I am not in face paint. But I also have to go to work, and I have no money, so I couldn't do anything.
We have to wait on his Fago shower.
Yeah, I gotta
It's fucking baptism in Fago.
If I had a bottle of Fago right now, I'd shake it up and spew it in my face like a full blast. If I could. I would do that.
My God. No, I can't touch my face.
I'd ruin my entire bedroom with Fago. All for you.
I'm your third host. I'm Harry. I am very excited to get into this shit. It's been an interesting week delving into all of this.
It's been a very interesting week. And then we have a special guest host this week. You might have never seen her before, but she lives in all of our hearts. And definitely, she watches every stream we do. She watches every stream anyone does. Take it away.
I'm Kayla. I am the resident Juggalo expert. Very excited. Thank you for having me. It is my fault. I brought this up as a joke, and we're just like going with it.
If anyone's joining and they're confused exactly what's going on, last week at the end of the episode, we decided to ask our audience what the theme for the following week should be. And as a throwaway joke, Kayla said just the first thing that came to her mind, which was just ICP. And we were like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And then as soon as the episode ended, we're like, Kayla, can you be our guest host? And she's like, absolutely.
And here we are, a week later, and a lot of fucking Insane Clown Posse music and media later.
Oh my God. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, no. I was going to say, since Kayla is our most expertise of the entire ICP line and is the reason why we're doing it, I feel like it's just appropriate to just be like, hey Kayla, how did you find out about ICP and what was your first endurance of it?
So I'm really into wrestling. Not a surprise for those of you who know me. And ICP is very closely related to a lot of wrestling culture. They have made WWE appearances, but they're mostly involved in hardcore wrestling, hardcore backyard wrestling. And there was a video game called Backyard Wrestling that had New Jack and all of these hardcore legends in it. And they did a lot of the music for the soundtrack, and they were playable characters in the game. So there's, if you've ever played a game with licensed music, especially sports games, it feels like the same songs play over and over again, the same 4 or 5 songs. And it was Blam and Homies and a handful of others, but it was mostly ICP and Twisted songs and a few Andrew WK, but that was the soundtrack. So I associate them very heavily with wrestling, and especially hardcore wrestling. But then the lore goes deep, really deep.
Oh my God!
As we found out.
Yeah, the rabbit hole is something.
Because I didn't realize you listed however many albums that we should prepare for this, and I just wasn't prepared for everything that was on every album. And I think you listed 6 albums, right?
7 albums. The 6 Joker's card, 7 albums.
And I accidentally started before you listed that series, so I started with their first album, The Basement something.
Basement Cuts, yeah.
Basement Cuts, and which I guess is the first. So it's here's how they started, and then I got the Joker's cards, and then when I finished the Joker's cards, I kept going. So I didn't really remember where your list ended, so I was like, I'll just keep, and I ended up listening to 9 ICP albums in the span of a week.
Goddamn.
Out of to put it in perspective, out of all three of us, I think Corey's listened to the most ICP in like the whole week of
Oh, yeah.
trying to consume ICP.
Absolutely, yes.
I think I have the record for ICP any percent right now.
ICP speedrun.
I'll put it in perspective for me. I couldn't get past like the third or fourth song of an ICP album before just shutting it off because I couldn't take it. The only time I listened to one full album was our listening party last night. That is as good as I got. So I only listened to one full entire album, but I consumed a lot of ICP, but in a totally different way. So, but I don't know. I feel like because like I don't know how you were able to do that, Corey, but I give you so much applause and kudos for going as ham as you did. So, round of applause for Corey.
Thank you.
I think he's the true ICP fan here.
Well, I don't know.
Kayla,
I just like I kind of just was like, it's music, so I'll just listen through all of it. And I like as I was listening through it, at first I was like, this is strange trash. And then as I kept going, I was like, oh, there's like little tiny gems in here. Just like on the Carnival of Carnage, just fucking the line, or this might have been Basement Cuts, but the line, he's okay. So to set the scene, he's in a grocery store, and the line is, the way she talked give me an erection, so you know I had to fuck her in the meat section. Just shit like that, little tiny pieces where I was like alone in my car laughing out loud for like a second. And you find like more and more of those as they go on with their music, and it was great. I lived for those little moments,
those beautiful little nuggets.
Yeah.
They have a very, very distinct sense of humor. A lot of like very similar jokes throughout like
the same
30 years of ICP.
Yo. Couldn't tell you how many ball jokes.
Never enough.
At least
no.
I'd say they're pretty consistent.
Oh,
they know?
Yeah.
They know their brand.
Yeah.
They know their brand and they're extremely self-aware.
They're not going to distance themselves from that entire scope of what they are and who they are.
Not at all.
Which is really interesting. And especially, funny enough, we did not plan this, but literally like this week they dropped a brand new album.
Yeah.
Literally just dropped an absolute brand new album when we were going in the middle of like learning their discography.
Yeah.
I of course made it through maybe 1.5 songs and then turned it off.
I didn't even try listening to it.
Yeah, I only listened through like the ones on Kayla's list.
Yeah.
How was speaking of how was your experience, Harry? Because we've heard Kayla's, Ryan's, and mine.
It was something. I was like, I really had no idea what their music was like at all. Like I'd literally never heard it before in my life. The only like experience I have with Insane Clown Posse is that there is like a family of juggalos that lives in Warwick, and like I drive past their house sometimes and they have all like fucking clown shit in the yard. That's like it.
Careful when you go out, Harry.
I didn't realize like it's not what I expected. It's like the earlier stuff is really fucking hard to listen to. It's got some funny bits, but it's like disturbing. And then it gets weirder, but like not in a disturbing way. But I guess we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Well, the thing I found similar about pretty much even today, every ICP song is it follows, if they're not doing the comedy stuff and they're not doing like the deep think stuff, the big think songs, they're doing these just very linear stories where it's like I was in this position and then this happened to me and then this happened to me and then this happened to me and then this happened to me, and it reminds me very much of like when I have like when my brothers were younger or my middle school cousins who like I wrote a story, Corey, can you read it? And I'm like, it's like literally just I did this and then I did this and then I did this and then they're all that way. Except a lot of gore and a lot of stabbing and a lot of killing and a lot of I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
A lot of like ball stuffing.
There's so much ball
Yeah,
stuffing.
those dogs in the bathtub.
I think that's kind of like the thing that I liked about it was I've been really into like kind of like horrorcore. Like Kayla and I, we really like Clipping. Clipping is a really great artist who does like horrorcore, and I feel like not a lot of artists do horrorcore, especially when it comes to like music. And whenever it comes out, I always am like, this is really interesting, this is really cool, and I really wish there was more like horror themed like music kind of stuff. So like when artists like Clipping come out, I'm always like excited to listen to what their album's gonna be like. But like Insane Clown Posse has been doing that since like the 90s, and then same with Twisted and everything like that. Like they've been
Since
going
the
at it for a while.
80s.
I did
since the
really
80s?
like. I
Since
like
the 80s, yeah.
I like the beats on like the '90s albums that they had. Like I like that.
Oh yeah,
It sounded like very like '90s hip hop. Like
Yeah.
So I appreciated that from the
Yeah,
the '90s ones.
Their sound definitely is like very 90s, and then when you get to the 2000s, you're like, this sounds like exactly like the music you were listening to if you were an edgy teenager in like the early 2000s. Like when we were listening to the Wraith, I literally said during our listening party, this sounds exactly like if I was listening to Limp Bizkit. Like I was waiting for Fred to come out. Like it reminded me so much of that, and it like that's exactly what Insane Clown Posse is kind of like. They're like the edgy kind of like hip hop rap duo that throughout the 90s and made very, I don't know, it's like that very distinct sound that was definitely something I kind of like picked up on, even though I didn't listen to a ton. But when I did, I think it was through their music, because I watched them through their music video, so I didn't listen to albums. So because I felt like that was the best way to consume through their music videos. So, and even through their music videos, it was like very apparent that that feeling was like in their music too.
it definitely tells the story better. Their music videos.
I didn't watch any. I watched the one. I watched the Miracles that you guys sang. I didn't watch any of the other music videos.
Oh, it's good timing
Oh,
because we had a comment. We had a comment with the Magnets one.
Oh yeah.
And Kayla, can you give the full line?
Oh, so
Earth,
it's how do fuck.
Earth, fire. It's
What is the
water,
lyric?
earth, something. No. Dirt is the last one. So it's like water, fire, air, dirt. We're gonna get it right because this is
We're
important.
gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
I will
This is an
say,
important bit.
as they're looking this up, the Miracles music video is absolutely the number one thing you need to watch.
Yeah, I would
It's
recommend checking that out after the
Very
Really?
podcast.
At first, I used to be like, why the fuck are we talking about this shit ass music? And I was super against it. But then I watched the Miracles music video and went, wait a minute. I think I struck gold.
You cracked the mother lode.
Okay, so the big meme is fucking magnets, how do they work? But the full line, which is so much better than just that. Water, fire, air, and dirt, fucking magnets, how do they work? And I don't want to talk to a scientist. Y'all motherfuckers lying and making me pissed.
Fucking love it.
It's like Shaggy says like, how do they work? And then immediately like there's a science. He's like, oh and then Shaggy's like just fucking bitch slaps him. Just, get out of here! I don't want it.
It was literally the funniest fucking thing I've ever watched in my life. Like, if I had any sort of awakening during watching ICP stuff, that was it. Was literally the Miracles music video.
Juggalo awakening.
You gotta know.
Like,
You gotta know. ICP was probably someone's sexual awakening.
Oh god.
no.
Probably more than just someone.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They talk about getting pussy a lot. I mean, hey, I mean,
With your
don't
homie in the room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, the homie's in the other room. He's like there.
He's there.
Still weird.
yeah.
He's like listening. He's got his ear up to the door. Like,
Is he losing his virginity yet? Hold on, Corey. Are you losing your virginity? I gotta listen. I gotta make sure you're getting that netted, whatever
Net-
it's called.
yeah.
I don't need.
Yeah, they've got all their own words and shit.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Juggalo culture is wild. It's super weird, and I don't know. Like I definitely like at least we did a little bit of diving into Juggalo culture, correct or not?
Yeah,
little bit,
Did a little bit of research.
Yeah.
And what are some of the findings you guys got on it? Because
Well, I know from the joke I made earlier, the Fago shower at the beginning of the show is literal. Like they will, when you go to like an ICP show or any ICP concert that like or they call it the Gathering of the Juggalos. When you go to any of those, you're gonna get drenched in Fago, whether it's walking around the site or at the show. They'll like shake up a bottle of Fago and spray the crowd. You'll walk by a guy who's pouring Fago on himself. It's just
Such
Fago.
a beautiful culture.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I think I'm a little thirsty. Guys.
There we go.
Fago. He's got it. He got the Fago. It's the same one that's on our on the thing on the
there.
label.
Yeah,
look.
Orange.
It's just look at it.
It's the same thing. Look
Similar.
at that.
That's
Similar
beautiful.
color.
How does the Fago taste?
Yeah, how is it?
Never had Fago before.
Can we get a Fago review?
Yeah.
I mean, definitely very orangey. I definitely feel the syrupy quality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was probably dirt cheap too.
It's very cheap.
Not bad.
It's so cheap.
So I live in Los Angeles. I went to the soda pop stop.
Oh.
Thinking I could get the classic like glass bottle Fago, and they're like, yeah, we're out of Fago. Like we've been out of Fago for months.
It's too in
I'm like,
demand.
oh wow, cool, interesting. So I went to a smoke shop and got Fago.
That's
Hey, do you want a
beautiful.
pack of cigarettes? Nah, I just want the Fago.
I got all.
Oh,
Oh,
you got
hell
the
yeah.
whole range of Fago.
Ooh.
Is that cotton candy and moon mist? Is that what those are?
Cotton candy and delicious raspberry blueberry.
Gotcha.
Genuine.
That's the one I wanted to try. Was that one?
They say genuine Fago. Is there disingenuine
Fake Fago.
Fake go?
That's called Fanta.
Wanna Fanta. But yeah. Oh, very, very quenched my thirst.
Very
I like
quenched.
that the Juggalo fan base is on the FBI list. As a
Yeah,
gang.
I was reading
Oh,
about
sure.
that last night or the other night.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they're legally classified as a gang, the Juggalos, by the FBI. And every like year or two, the ICP sues the American government over it to try and get them removed, and they're unsuccessful like for like the last decade plus. And Kayleigh was saying that they like did a march on Washington and everything. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
I was also
Yeah, every
reading-
now and then they do the Juggalo march
Yeah.
on DC.
It's beautiful.
Mhm.
Just all the Juggalos in the streets.
So everyone's wearing clown makeup and walking down the streets, and they're pissed off because they're being told that they're a gang, and they're like, "We're not. We just really like this band."
I was
But I mean-
reading this morning too that the Juggalo face paint obscures like facial recognition software. So like the AI can't tell who you are if you're wearing Juggalo makeup, because like it
Oh my God.
obscures like the features of like your chin and your jaw and stuff. So like they like were doing tests, and like they can't read people's faces if they're wearing the makeup.
It's like genuinely, if you want to avoid being like recorded by the government, you just wear Juggalo makeup.
Yep.
And like, could you imagine a future where like everyone wears makeup all the time just so the AI can't track them?
The world of Juggalos.
God damn. I could get used to this.
Yeah. Live the face paint life.
Live the
Not able to touch your face for like the rest of your life.
Only when you're in home in secret when you know cameras aren't recording. So damn. So we got the lore down. Do we want to get into Shangri-La?
I feel like we need to work our way up
We
to
gotta get
Shangri-La,
there.
you know?
Yeah.
We gotta get there.
So
We could
take
talk
me
about
through the ride I wasn't willing to take.
Yeah, because you didn't listen to all the albums, so you don't know the story.
Well, we can talk about the lore of the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even though I've listened to the music, it's like some of the information is coming and going so fast. I don't quite know the lore of all the cards.
Yeah. So there's 6 Joker's cards, and
And these are albums.
Yeah, they're albums, and each album is like a different part of like dying and judgment and the afterlife, and a lot of them kind of like repeat. I'm not really sure like how that works in like the meta of like the Dark Carnival, but first album, Carnival of Carnage, is this traveling circus. It's a carnival that takes the violence from the inner city and brings it out into the suburbs, and it's like the punishment for the upper class and the government for ignoring these marginalized communities, these like low income communities where there's a lot of violence, and it takes that kind of that violent culture out into the suburbs and punishes those people for that.
Yeah.
And this is a common theme throughout all their music.
Yeah.
Is the difference between the classes.
And Carnival of Carnage, funny enough, even though major theme is racism and class inequality, Kid Rock is on the album, and Kid Rock drops an N-bomb.
Yeah, I noticed
Real
that.
fun.
I was like, wait a sec. Like, because I was like, these guys are all white, right? Like, yeah, that was that was something. That's
classic
yeah.
Kid Rock. we had a comment in the comments, classic Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Do you have anything you want to say about Carnival of Carnage before we move on to the Ringmaster?
Carnival of Carnage was like, it was a rough out as like a production standpoint. It was their like first Joker's card, and it's like a rough album. It's like,
Yeah.
you can hear like some of the grunge and like just some of the music doesn't always fit, but like it's got a charm to it. It's got like a again, it's the thing I mentioned earlier. There's like these little gems, these golden nuggets throughout the whole, and I think nugget is proper branding term for what you find through ICP albums. But yeah, that was just my take on it. It gets better. The albums get better production wise.
They definitely do.
Yeah.
One of the reasons the production is so messy on Carnival of Carnage is because there's so many different producers working on it. Whereas later on, it's Mikey Clark. Like Mikey Clark produces like all of their later stuff, except for The Wraith, which is produced by Zug Island. And they're like a kind of like a metal, like new metal kind of group out of Detroit. Which is why The Wraith sounds so different than the other albums.
Yeah, I noticed that while we were listening to it last night. It is like just complete tonal shift, like and like sound wise and everything.
Yeah. So the next album is The Ringmaster. The Ringmaster is obviously the leader of the carnival, and he's the one who like drags the souls of these people to hell, and he like manifests through people's sins, and he's part of the judgment process. And his hands on the album, like one's up and one's down, and it's supposed to represent like heaven and hell. This is like their first album where they start to kind of find where they're going to go throughout the rest of their career. The Carnival of Carnage like does not sound like them. Like Shaggy still hasn't even like developed his voice. Like Kid Rock on Carnival of Carnage sounds more like Shaggy than Shaggy does on that album.
Yeah, I had a hard time in the beginning telling Violent J and Shaggy apart. They sounded so similar, but like as obviously as it keeps going, like Shaggy's scream will never be forgotten. There's such a quality to it.
Very unique voice. Very iconic voice. And then
no, not
next
wasn't Shaggy. That we got a comment asking if the song was if it was. I think it's a good thing to a good point to maybe make is no, it's not Shaggy. It wasn't me, Shaggy. It is what's his full name?
Shaggy Two Dope.
Shaggy Two Dope He's an ICP rapper.
He's on the side over there. Over there. You can see
You can
those
see,
are
you can see Violent J here, and then Shaggy to Violent J's left.
So the next album after the Ringmaster is the Riddle Box, and he is also a part of Judgment. He appears when you die in this like empty room, and there's a Jack in the Box on a table, and you crank the handle, and at the end either like a vision of God will appear and you go to Shangri-La, or like fog will seep out and the floor opens up under you and you fall into hell. The fog like strips your sanity from you, and this is like a very, I think out of all of their albums, this is the most like carny sounding album.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very fun but dark. Like a lot of the production feels fun, but then of course the lyrics are super dark and like talking about, you know, being the son of a serial killer and like getting bullied at school and then like shooting up your school and handing out toys that like kill children. And
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it goes places.
mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then so Ringmaster and Riddlebox came out under, I believe, Jive Records, and they gave ICP like a lot of trouble, like in terms of just releasing their albums. I think it was Riddlebox was supposed to be under an hour long. That's what Jive wanted. Like contractually, it was supposed to be under an hour long, and ICP did not want to do that. They just were like, "This is the album we're coming out with. It's like an hour and 10 minutes, an hour 15 minutes, something like that, and we're not cutting anything. You're putting it out as is." And they were super pissy about it. And they also did a remix of Chicken Huntin' on Riddlebox, which originally appeared on The Ringmaster. And when they filmed the music video for it, they filmed like a live show of them performing Chicken Huntin'. And Jive wanted multiple takes, but it was an actual show, and they were like, we're not going to keep playing the same song over and over again. Mm-hmm. And they were also only going to play the original version at the show, and Jive wanted them to play the new version at the show, but like the fans didn't know that version, so they're like, we're doing it once and we're doing the old version. And Jive was super pissed about that.
I was like thinking Chicken Huntin' is already so goddamn repetitive. I can't imagine an audience that we're gonna do it 2 times. You're gonna get fucking, how long is the song? Yeah, you're gonna get 7 minutes of Chicken Huntin'.
Oh boy.
Couldn't do that to anybody.
But lucky for ICP, even though Jive was giving them a lot of trouble, they started to blow up after Riddlebox. And they caught the attention of Disney. So Disney signed them. Yeah, so they were signed to Disney, and they released The Great Malenko, their next album, through Hollywood Records, which is a Disney subsidiary.
Oh my god.
And I can't get over the fact that they were ever signed to a Disney label. And of course, Disney gave them a lot of trouble. They wanted them to like tone down the material and like, you know, they're Disney.
I can't believe Disney would be like, wow, making money, we'll sign you on. And then like knew what they were signing on.
Yeah, like how do you like...
And then we're like, guys, it's gotten a little carried away since you signed on to us. It's gotten a little over the top. We need you guys to turn it down a little bit. And I can just imagine they just signed the contract and they're like looking at Disney like, no. And in fact, they don't just say no. They probably say like, fuck that. And they're like, I want my motherfucking money.
That was a good impersonation.
That's
motherfucker.
Exactly... yeah, they say that too. They don't say motherfucker sometimes, or motherfucker. They go
say
motherfucker, which is something else. But
fun.
yeah, it's so weird that like Disney's like, yeah, let's take these guys that talk about like blood and killing and death and all these like really hardcore themes and like have like this hardcore aesthetic and like sound, and they're like, yeah, let's just put these guys under our label. It's like, and because like ICP is very anti-mainstream, I'll put it that way. Like they
That
were
is true,
known
yeah.
as like the underdog of like the music industry, but
They're
they blew
literally
up. Like,
on their Instagram, in their description is like the most hated band. Like proudly.
It's kind of beautiful.
yeah, it's true actually. Like I think like it's fairly true though. I think like a lot of people really hate ICP.
I wonder why.
Like,
Yeah. We'll get into it.
So Malenko is like peak ICP. This is like the highest point in their career. Obviously, they were so popular that Disney noticed them and wanted them on their brand. And the Great Malenko is this illusionist who conjures these like really realistic illusions of like what people want in order to tempt them into sin.
Mm.
And this has some of like the best storytelling, in my opinion, on this album. Halls of Illusions is probably one of the best songs they've ever done. But then there's also the other side of ICP on this album. There's the Ned Game, which is like a game show where it's like the what show is that, where there's like the curtain and you can't see the person that you're asking the questions to.
the dating
like
game.
The dating game.
Something like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, so Violent J and Shaggy are like the two, like the finalists, and she's asking all these questions about like, what they're gonna do, like how they're going to approach like meeting the parents and all of these like really basic questions about like relationships, and they like go off about whatever weird bullshit they're on, like walking into the kitchen butt naked with like a bottle of Faygo up his ass and like
Fucking playing with, like, one of the lines was something about playing with their mom's tits. Just straight up. What else was there? Was like, how would you approach me at a bar? The last question in the end game was like, how would you approach me at a bar to like try and beat out the other guy approaching? And it was just straight up shit like, hey, yo, bitch, get over here. Just the most, it's not almost sexist. It's very sexist.
Yeah.
a common theme in their music.
That's
Very.
And even beyond their music, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I do want to say, though, the Great Malenko does have one of my favorite lines, which is Violent J's abracadabra boom shaka day. I'm Violent J and I'm back like a vertebrae.
That is good.
Classic.
It's very.
It also has some of my favorite lyrics. I have to put my glasses on so I can read the lyrics for House of Horrors.
Beautiful.
And hopefully I can actually fucking read this, because I tried reading this the other day and I could not. Okay.
Let's hope you can.
And this is
your glasses too.
This is the actual song. Like there's skits throughout the album and throughout like this song as well. But I'm not reading the skit part. This is like the song. This is them rapping and singing or whatever. Welcome to the House of Horrors. Were you born in a barn? Shut the fucking doors. You see, because I'm about to scare you. Okay, now I dare you. Close your eyes, open up your mouth, and count to 10. Don't wanna, huh? Because you know my nuts are going in. I'm twisted. I'll cut your finger off and stick it in your butt and glue it shut. This is when I get crazy. Let me show you something. You know what that means? It don't mean nothing. Haha. But it scared you because people don't be doing that shit. But me, bitch.
You do it so well too.
I'm all about it.
She ran away.
That's so
Scare the
good.
shit out of my cat with this.
Oh my god.
And then this song is called the second verse, Shaggy's verse. Hey, hey, what the fuck? Come here, guys, grab a chair. Don't mind me drinking beer in my underwear. Come on, let's play some combat. I got an Atari. And then in the background, a voice yells, hey, keep it down in there, Shags, what the hell? And Shaggy comes back, sorry, look at that shit. You almost got me grounded. I'm gonna have to take your forehead and pound it. I'll bend you over and tie you up to a pole and stretch your nuts back and fling them up your butthole.
Jesus fuck. He has such a way with words.
Yeah, such a way. Oh boy, does
Brought to you by the good people at Disney.
Oh my god.
goodness gracious.
Yeah, produced by Disney.
Fuck. Hollywood Records, man. They took a chance. They dived deep into that butthole, and this is exactly what they got. And you know what? I good for them. Good for ICP though. I mean, they probably made a fuckload of money, and this probably was the album that probably got them the most recognition. Probably that got them more into the more mainstream. I guess, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, people at the time knew who they were, but probably didn't like the general public was probably not listening to ICP.
Yeah.
Oh, the Great
So-
Malenko also has Piggy Pie, which is a great song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that
does
was,
have
like,
Piggy Pie.
Fourth song or third song on the album.
Actually, you got it. It was the fourth song.
Fourth song. That was as far
Real
as I
fan
made
over
it.
I
here.
was gonna say Ryan knows because he fucking split after that one.
Yeah, I after Piggy Pie, I turned it off, and then I think I listened then again. I tried going back into it, and then I listened maybe up to Hall of Illusion, I think it was. So I listened to about 7 songs on Great Malenko, but that's as good as I was gonna go.
And this is
Halls of
1997 is the Great Malenko.
Yeah, ICP released like an album, I think, once every year, maybe sometimes twice in one. It was like ridiculous. Like they're like looking at the dates of when their albums come out. It's just like, and they make like 16 to like 20 songs an album, which is ridiculous. So the turnaround of them just making one album and then just going right back into making another one was just insane. Like they were just making songs like consistently throughout the 90s, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, because they didn't stop. Like they just keep going. They make so much. Like there's so many albums they have.
Wait,
It's
hold on.
ridiculous.
Yeah, if you open up Spotify and you try to like scroll down to like Carnival of Carnage, you are going to scroll for a long time. There is so much material.
I want to report on this because check this out. Since 1990 up until this year, the only years ICP didn't release an album was 1991, 2001, and 2016 and 2020.
Damn.
Every other year, all other years, they've recorded and released one or more albums.
That's insane. And then not
They've
even
been together for over 30 years too.
Yeah.
They're homies.
Yeah, they're homies.
And that's also like,
They're homies.
that's not even like considering that they've been on tour and then they were doing collaborations with other artists and like
Filming movies.
yeah,
Movies.
Oh boy, I can't wait to talk about the movies.
they were like doing all this shit and they were still consistently making music. I think that's insane. Like, I mean, that's part of their name, I guess. I mean, Insane Clown Posse, but you know, I genuinely think that's like so much work. I mean, that's a ton of work. So, I mean, their work ethic is through the roof, I guess, you know, if they're going to make that much music after, you know, all these years and not slowing down either, which is absolutely insane to think about. That's banana.
Yeah.
I just noticed the Fago we have is the big 24 ounce, but I've been cheated.
Oh, you got the 23 ounce.
Ooh.
Damn.
Dude, you got gypped an ounce.
Yeah.
I would go complain.
Yeah, you should go back and complain.
Should call Fago.
You could order Fago on the internet. So
Or
you can
shop.
yeah, or well, we live in upstate New York where there's no Fago anywhere near us. So unless I just drive to Detroit, Michigan, I guess Kayla, do you want? We're gonna go to Detroit. Let's just go to get Faygo,
Faygo
and then
road
come
trip.
back. That's it. It's literally just to go grab a bottle of Faygo and then leave.
When you go to like grocery stores and convenience stores in Michigan, like the pop section is like only Faygo. It's like just walls of Faygo.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful to me.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that day when we do that.
Fagos
go.
to the horizon.
So moving on from
Oh no. Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say moving on.
moving on from the Great Malenko are the Jekyll Brothers, Jack and Jake, who are the sinister and the just, and they're jugglers that juggle your sins. They're like these little like bloody balls that they juggle, and I can't remember which one's which, but the just is trying to like just finish the show. He's doing his act. He wants to finish his act. And then the sinister starts like throwing shit at him to try to get him to drop the balls. And if even one sin falls to the ground, you're doomed to hell. But if they finish their act, you get to go to Shangri-La. Not sure how that works with the riddle box, because that's kind of the same thing, same idea. And this was not released by Disney. I don't remember who it was. I don't think they went back to Jive. I think this might have been released under Def Jam, because this was also not an independent album yet. Because I'm pretty sure The Wraith was their first independent album.
Which album was this one?
This is the Jekyll Brothers.
Yep.
Which
The Island Def Jam music group.
Okay, yeah, Def Jam. And Def Jam also released their first movie, Big Money Hustlers. There's a big splash screen at the beginning saying Island Def Jam presents.
Are we getting into the movie now? Or are we gonna
We should finish up with their discography before we jump into the movies. But
Yeah.
just so you know, the first movie came out right after the Jekyll Brothers.
Hell of a
And then you have also there's an Old Dirty Bastard feature on the Jekyll Brothers. I just had to point that out. They have some like really high profile features on some of these albums.
yeah, on the song "Bitches," Old Dirty Bastard.
Alex is going crazy in the chat over this revelation.
Alex, if you're interested in the Amazing Jekyll Brothers, Snoop Dogg also shows up in the song with Shaggy.
Yeah. I remember you talking about this one, that like some of the like the celebrities that end up in like some of their
It's
like
amazing.
in some of their music is kind of wild.
Yeah. So after the Jekyll Brothers, you get the Wraith, and there's two different albums for the Wraith. You have the Wraith Shangri-La, which we did a listening party for last night, and then the Wraith Hell's Pit, which is probably their most serious album. It's like really dark, but like a very grounded. I shouldn't say very grounded, but like it's not dark in the same way that like Riddlebox is. It's it deals with like themes of suicide, and even the stories that they tell are like dark, but not in like a fun way. Like In My Room is a story about a guy who falls in love with a ghost that's in his room, and she starts telling him that like that the neighbors saw them, so he has to do something about them because they can't know our secret. And he like goes and he kills his neighbors, and like it kind of spirals from there. And it's like a really dark song, and it's not like a fun dark. But the Wraith Shangri-La is a borderline new metal album, very, very strange album in their discography, but it is like the most important album. It's their first independent album. It's the big revelation of like what all of the Joker's cards were leading up to on thy unveiling.
Yeah.
10 years.
So,
10 years.
I want to say though, I just love this album has a ton of singing, and there is a point like in 1997 or 1998 where like they're like, oh, there's this new thing called auto-tune, and you could tell they got a hold of it and they just started singing on all their songs. And in Shangri-La, they definitely have the most singing. It's a lot of
It's
good.
not good.
Well, yeah, it's auto-tuning. It's just vocals, but it's charming, is what it is.
Yeah, I guess.
It is. It is.
I'm
telling you, it's charming. I'm telling you, Ryan, it's charming.
You're not allowed to dispute this.
I will say, having other people to listen to the album with made it a much easier experience for me, because there's something about like listening to it with all you guys that made it like okay, I can do this. Whereas when I was alone, I was like, I can't fucking do this. I'm gonna like throw myself into oncoming traffic. Like, this is awful.
I also love the guitar features on this song, where it's like, yeah, we're doing some serious singing. We've got like some soft electric, and at some points like acoustic guitar coming in.
Yeah,
just an instrument I would have thought ICP had never heard of, an acoustic guitar.
It was funny as like musically, I thought the song, I think Homies, and I feel like what was it? The Unveiling.
Homies.
I feel like those had really like decent like actual like background music, and I was like, oh, okay, the beats that they're going off of is actually really good. But then when they start singing, and then when I hear the context of what the songs are, I think they're really funny, and then I'm like, uh-oh. Well, especially with The Unveiling, I thought like I was like, this might be my favorite song, and then all of a sudden it was like the bombshell, and I was like, what?
Well, see, that's the moment where it became my favorite song.
Honestly, kind of, yeah, actually. It was really funny, and I didn't expect it, and I don't know, do we want to get into that, I guess? The Unveiling bombshell that was 10 years of discography and build up to what exactly?
Okay, would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Please,
okay.
Read the lyrics.
So it opens up, they list off all of the Joker's cards, and they're like, fuck it, gotta tell him, like, no more secrets, like, we're gonna, 10 years we've been building this up, we're just gonna let it all out. So who invented juggalos and juggalettes and fucking Fago showers? What about that feeling you get when bumping our shit? Who's behind the juggalo powers? This ain't no fucking fan club. It ain't about making a buck. Don't buy our fucking action figures, bitch. I don't give a fuck. It ain't about Violent J or Shaggy, the Butterfly or 17. When we speak of Shangri-La, what you think we mean? Truth is we follow God. We've always been behind him. The carnival is God, and may all juggalos find him.
And then the choir in the background is like, may the juggalos find him.
Oh my god.
The fucking pivot to Christian group.
The hardest left turn I've ever seen.
They were a Christian band the whole time.
There's like an amazing. Well, I gotta give Violent J credit the way he builds up those lines too.
Oh yeah.
He hits God. He's like,
yeah.
we follow God.
Oh my god.
And the rest of the song is like, we're not sorry if we tricked you.
Yeah.
We don't care what happens now. May the juggalos find him. It's God bless.
Oh, it's so
and that
good.
song reprises a lot of songs from all of their work leading up to the Wraith. And my favorite moment is like, it's the little like back and forth, the like, may the juggalos find him, that little chorus, and then that part stops, and there's just this gang vocal of "Suck my nuts, bitch, fuck you."
It's so good.
Yeah. I remember, I'm like, why is this song about God? But they're also just like, yo, suck my dick. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
it's about God, but it's also patently fucking Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
I remember being like, didn't they talk about like cutting open a rat and drinking the blood of it like in the same album? It's so fucking funny. Like, I'm just like, why is it that they like talk about all this fucked up shit, bring all this horror, like gore elements to their songs, and then here they are like, God though. Make sure Sunday service, go to it. Go to your local Sunday service, and it's like, what the fuck? Oh man, it's wild. Like it's kind of weird. It's like I don't know. Like I've never seen a left turn as hard as that.
I want to say, that Revelation, that album, is a miracle, and I noticed that miracle.
The funny thing is, I heard Miracle before we listened to Shangri-La, and I was like, this seems kind of Jesus-y. I don't know. It's a little Christian-y, right? But then I was like, nah, maybe it's just me overthinking it. Maybe they're just like wowed by the world itself and whatever. But then we listened to Shangri-La, and now I'm like, oh no, that was a Jesus song. Miracles is just Jesus music.
Absolutely.
That shit is just absolute Christian music. It's like wild because he's like, man, isn't God such a miracle that he can make all these things? That's like, whoa. It's like, oh no. But like fucking magnets, you know? How I can't believe God created magnets, you know?
Yeah, if you watch the music video for Miracles, the ICP's kids show up.
Oh, it was Shaggy's son.
Shaggy's two sons and Violent J's little boy, his like 6-year-old, 5-year-old son shows up.
And they're all in fucking
makeup.
And they're just like standing there like
the two boys were like old enough for like standing.
Yeah, they were like standing and posing. The one kid looked like he was like, I don't want to be here. Like, what? Just film me and let me go. I want to go play fucking Minecraft, please.
They caught what footage of him they could, and then like threw it into like, it's good enough.
That's. But what an absolute culmination of. Well, for you guys, it was more of a culmination. For me, it was kind of like a.
I was okay
in the moment.
I was building this desk. I got a new desk, and I was building this desk when I was listening to the unveiling, and I stopped, and I was like, "What is this secret? What is this buildup? What's going on? What's gonna happen?" And I just remember hearing only the music, and like the fucking truth is we follow God, and I kind of didn't come back into like my room until like a few minutes later when the song was over, and I realized I'd been just staring at the wall, like just letting the music happen. And I was just like, and I got up and I was like, Mike, my roommate, can I spoil ICP for you? I was like, they're a Christian band. Just like,
man,
that was my experience with it. Just fucking, wow.
It was so funny. It's like my roommates, my one roommate, when he found out that I was we were doing an episode on ICP, he was like, "Oh, I hope to God I'm not there for this episode," because he hates ICP. But like, literally, when I told him, I literally looked at him and I said, "Dude, I can't believe that they're a fucking Christian band." He's like, "Wait, you didn't know that?" He's like, "Everybody knows that. That's like their number one thing. Every fan knows them as is the Christian group." And I'm like, what?
News to me.
I don't, because I don't fucking know anything about them.
Yeah.
Like I knew absolutely nothing going into this. So,
I'm so glad that I came into this like having completely different expectations for that like fucking Insane Clown Posse. Like, like just the fucking like we follow God. Like I just can't fucking get over that.
I remember your guys' reaction, like, as soon as we heard it. I was a little worried you guys would be like, oh, yeah, I knew they were a Christian band. But I heard, like, I think first I heard Harry's, what?
Yeah, like, they said it, and I was just like what's happening?
I don't think I processed it right away. I think it just hit me, and I was just like, I heard Harry's what, and then that's what made me go, wait, hold on. And I feel like I needed to go back into the lyrics to make sure I heard it right, and I looked up the lyrics again. I went, oh, I did hear that. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think from you, Ryan, I heard a very, like, quiet and, like, concerned, they're a Christian group?
It was like when that line hit, I was expecting an immediate reaction, and it was just like silence for a few seconds before Harry was like, "What?" And then eventually, like after like 30 seconds, Harry and Ryan just started like losing it, like just laughing super hard. But like it took a really long time for them to like for it to process and them to actually react.
You know, even though I didn't listen to all their albums, I didn't go as hard into the deep dive as I wanted to with it. I still feel like I walked out exactly the same as if I did. Like,
Yeah.
like I knew at least a good idea of what they were like, and I was like, okay, whatever. It still was like fucking baffled because even that album itself, like even everything they talk about, even in that fucking album, it's still insane that it pivots to that because it's so fucking funny. It's because it's still very much an ICP album. Like everything you listen to before the unveiling is literally the same thing as what they are like in all their other albums. They're very vulgar, very crude, extremely graphic, and everything like that. And then, so this reveal, even though I hadn't gotten that entire buildup of 10 years of discography, I still felt it. I still felt exactly that, and it was. I'm just astounded. I experienced something like this, and with all of you. Together.
I'm very glad we got to listen to that whole album together.
Yeah,
Me and all the homies together.
talk about
fitting.
homies.
Jesus.
And that wasn't the only thing we all did together yesterday.
No, we watched the movie we talked about, Big Money Hustlers.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
Oh man, that
It is,
movie. Speaking of fucking revelations.
Yeah. Before we get into it, ICP has fucking changed me.
Yeah.
I proudly wear this juggalo makeup. ICP and Guts theme from Berserk, but
There's the
yeah,
two things that touched your soul this week.
very close to each other, very close proximity.
Yeah.
But Big
For
Money
anybody-
Hustlers. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Ryan?
I was gonna say for anybody who wants to preemptively watch Big Money Hustlers? Was it
Big
again?
Money
Yeah.
Hustlers.
Anybody who wants to watch it, it is free on Tubi and also on YouTube as well. So
It
you
is
can literally watch it
somehow.
there. You can watch the whole thing. Yeah, somehow you can watch the whole movie. And also the sequel, Big Money Hustlers, as well. That's all on YouTube for free. So and if you wanted to watch it, go ahead. I highly recommend at least Big Money Hustlers.
I genuinely recommend watching
yeah.
those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
genuinely think both of them are worth your time. To some
Big
extent.
Money Rustlers, yeah, it's Big Money Rustlers.
That's the sequel.
That's the sequel.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I don't know how I haven't heard of these movies. Considering like you think of funny bad movies, but like these hit that golden ratio of just like a well-made movie, and also just a good script and a well-made movie, and just fucking the kind of careless poor quality you would purposely give a comedy movie you're trying to make. I highly suggest it.
Big Money Hustlers, for anybody that doesn't know, pretty much is like it's a comedy parody spoof of like the buddy cop comedy.
Yeah.
Pretty much like it's about like a gang leader who just wants his motherfucking money, and pretty much like there's like this guy named Sugar Bear or something like
Sugar
that.
Bear, yeah.
Sugar Bear. And
Yeah,
he has
that is
fanfare
fanfare.
every time his name is said. There's fanfare, and it's so funny. It's a stupid gag that actually pays off very much at the end. Which my favorite gag of the movie. Anyways, so like pretty much he's trying to like stop. It's like so it's played by Shaggy Two Dope plays as Sugar Bear, and then Violent J plays as what is it, Big Sweets or something like that?
Big baby sweets.
Big Baby Sweets.
Yeah, he plays
And-
the villain.
Yeah, he's the villain, and pretty much the two of them are facing off with each other, and it's like this like comedy, and it's really it borderlines on being it's a bad movie technically, but it's actually genuinely really funny, and some of the bad elements of it makes it really charming, and it's super on the nose and purposeful. Like it is purposefully made exactly the way it is,
Yeah.
which makes it such a fucking great experience because I genuinely thought it was like really funny in parts, and then there were some parts where I was like extremely uncomfortable and like, what the fuck am I
It was
watching?
legitimately one of the
extended-
best movie watching experiences I've had in a while. Like,
Extended scene of Shaggy 2 Dope fucking a fat woman was something I've never experienced in my life. Intercut with other scenes that were just happening. The one scene where they're like presenting the money to fucking Violent J
just goes
that went on
on.
for like 20 minutes. It was like it's genuinely insane. I mean, it was kind of an amazing experience, and personally, I loved Big Money Hustlers. Like that was a really great movie, and you've got like, you know, you have wrestlers coming into the movie. You had Nick Foley in there. You had like there was like you had pretty much the guys from Twisted in there. Who else was in it? There was a lot of people.
Harland Williams played the other cop.
Yeah,
And then there's a big revelation about his character at the end.
Yeah.
And
you got
who else was it? The guy from Jerky Boys, like what is it, Johnny B or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He plays the chief.
Mm-hmm.
And you also got your boy what's his name? The cop movie that this is all based off of.
Oh, Rudy Ray Moore is in it.
Rudy Ray
I
Moore.
don't know how we fucking forgot that.
As Dolomite.
Like
Dolomite.
It's an unofficial Dolomite sequel.
Yeah, like he as the character is in this movie. Like he is. It's fucking beautiful.
And his lines are great too, because he's like, because Shaggy 2 Dope, or I'm sorry, Sugar Bear is like, are you guys? He's like, oh, like Dolomite, you gonna help me like win this, like beat the baddies? And Dolomite's like, hell no, you guys can't afford me. Like if you got the money, like yeah, I'm down for it, but like I don't think you guys got enough money to buy more screen time for me.
And then he just like literally doesn't show up later, and they're like, "What happened?" He's like, "Oh, we ran out of budget."
Yeah.
I like the part where like they literally were like, where the one guy's like, "Just stick to the script." All right, cut.
Yeah, he fucking comes on. He's just like, "Guys, can we just stick to the script?"
It was so funny. Like that's the kind of shit that makes this movie so fucking great. And it's super funny, and I genuinely enjoyed every second of this movie because it was stuff like that made it like really pushed over the edge of just being like ridiculous.
And
But you
there's
can tell they
these
had a fun time making.
there's like these really small throwaway bits that like land really well too. Like when Sugar Bear goes into like when he goes into I've already forgot Jay's character's name, but like his big mansion when he goes to like do the sting and arrest them. He comes up to the door and like the door is like already open. Like it's like open, like a jar open. And he like closes the door and then picks the lock and opens it again.
I think the gag that got me is obviously the one where like the fanfare plays, but then it comes to find out it's the guy that makes the ICP's music. It was Mike whatever. What's his
Mikey
name?
Clark, yeah.
Mikey Clark. And he's like, who like Violet J's like, who the fuck is playing that fucking music? And then like Mikey Clark comes out, he's like, hi, it's me, Mikey Clark. I'm the sound guy. And they're like, he's like, oh, it's you doing the music? He's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, I get it. I see how it is. And he just shoots him and he kills the sound guy and he just kills Mikey Clark. And then directly after that is the scene that broke Corey and me at the same time. And where literally Violet J opens up his shirt and then he gets shot and he's like, you playing?
Well, he's like, he opens up his suit jacket and he's like, he gets shot and he closes it really quick. And like, that stops the shooting. And he's like, you playing, right? And he opens it again, and he gets shot again and closes it.
Like, bro, are we playing here? He literally keeps saying it, and we fucking started losing it even more and more. It was so fucking funny.
My
Genuinely hysterical.
My favorite bit in the whole movie is when Shaggy 2 Dope, because I don't want to do the fanfare again. Shaggy 2 Dope is in bed. And he's like, his buddy's calling him. He's like, you guys, where are you? Where the fuck are you? What are you doing? He's like, yo, I'm butt ass naked with everything but my cock. And he speaks in rhymes too. The whole movie, Shaggy speaks in rhyme, except for when he like falls into like the innermost cave. Then he's
gotta
not,
work that in there.
He's at his lowest point when he hits rock bottom. He doesn't speak in rhyme anymore, and they point it out. Like Dolomite's like, you stop speaking. Oh no, his buddy Cop's like, you stop speaking in rhyme.
Yes, it's chief.
The chief, but he's like, fine, like I'm gonna I go like, sorry, like bye bitch, I gotta go. And he gets up and they cut to a bodybuilder butt ass naked walking up the floor. Just super muscular, super buff.
And he's just got his socks on. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that fucking killed me.
Oh, it's like that's the plot. That is the point in the movie where I was like, these guys are really smart. Like, they know what they're doing. They didn't just throw a movie together and like they didn't just decide to make a movie and then use that as an excuse to like fuck around with a camera and just be homies and bros all day. They like actually made a movie. Like
a good fucking movie.
Yeah. I was actually genuinely impressed with what it ended up being, because I was like, oh, this is gonna be some piece of shit schlock just to sell their music. It's just gonna be like,
yeah, that was
literally just this big ad for them. But it really isn't. It's actually just like them making something that they are like, hey, this is funny, and we're just gonna do this. And they're just romping around, and they just made a comedy, and it's genuinely pretty great. I mean, thoroughly, I enjoyed every second of it, and I was very much astounded how much I like really dug into it. And I've always been like, I love their music videos, so when I got to their movie, I was actually like kind of like excited. I was like, maybe the music videos would be very much like their movies. No, the movie stands on its own as like its own thing, and it's, to me, like, what if I was going to be an ICP fan of anything, it's going to be their movies. Like, I think Big Money Hustlers and Big Money Rustlers, that's it. Like, right there for me, that's the ICP fan base for me. So less their music, more that. I wish they could make more of that.
Ryan found his inner juggalo.
That's the inner juggalo I found. That was the day I peeled my skin off, and then I found the white face paint underneath. And I was like, shit. Oh, fuck.
Goddamn.
Just thinking, like, was it Poltergeist where the guy's like pulling his skin
yeah,
off?
Peeling his skin
and Ryan's
off.
like, ah! And it's just juggling makeup.
Oh my god.
But I think Harry had to go to bed, but Kayla, Corey, and we ended up watching Big Money Rustlers, which is the sequel to Big Money Hustlers, which this is pretty much the same story, except in the Western setting.
Yeah,
that's
it's
pretty much about it. It's the same movie, pretty much. Like, some of the gags are actually rinsed and repeat, unfortunately, from the first movie, which I kind of didn't like, which is why my rating for Big Money Rustlers was much lower, because it felt lazier. But I know Corey has some things he wants to say about this movie.
The movie specifically looks really good. Like, the production quality from Big Money Hustlers to Big Money Rustlers improved. Like, they bought or hired a really good cinematographer. And like the movie looks like something you'd see on like TV when you're looking at like kind of the like kind of, I guess, like a cop show, like a standard, like not super popular cop show, but like it still looks like it belongs on TV and it looks really nice. And just what got me was at the beginning, Shaggy's at this grave. He's at like Shaggy 2 Dope is like sitting at a grave, and he's like putting a flower down or something like that. He's paying his respects, and they cut to a wide shot that's just, it looked like a painting. Like, it was super well composed. There was like the tree over on one side, like over here, and like the little grave and him standing, and the tree kind of went up and like slumped down, and it made a wonderful like triangle, and the horse was like here. And like the horse, I don't know how they did it, but the horse had the like the look when you like see a very nicely painted horse where it's like standing one way and its head's turned the other way. like horse is looking back at what's going on and then whips his head over here. I don't know, everything came together in that one shot. It was like, this movie's gonna be great. And it's like in the opening, and the rest of the movie doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't really disappoint.
And there's a lens whack.
There is lens whacking. which is like very. I only saw it like once in one scene. I really don't know why they did it, other than to maybe just do it, because they didn't need to, but they had a fucking lens whack where Shaggy was like right here, and then the guy was in the background, or the guy was further back, further away, and like they were both in focus, and you could see right down the middle it was unfocused. Like Jesus Christ, that's a hard shot to like get right. That's a lot of planning for that.
So they went all in and tried to make like something genuinely good. Like, and that's the one thing I will appreciate about those movies, even though I didn't really like Big Money Rustlers as much, and I felt it didn't have the pizzazz Big Money Hustlers have. I have to respect the fuck out of the movie for the effort that they put into it, like the sets and just like getting everything together. Some of the gags, though, I will say there was one gag I think that was actually genuinely pretty funny that I didn't expect to think that was gonna be funny. Was when the one dude is just like he's a cow, like they're all like obviously in the Old West, but then Shaggy 2 Dope tells the sheriff to go to New York to go get chili because it has the best chili in the world. And he tells him just go get it because he's kind of a shit ass sheriff, and Shaggy just wants him out of the way so that he can clean up the town. And so he actually goes to New York City, like in modern day New York City, dressed as a cowboy. And like there's a hooker trying to grab him and be like, "Hey honey, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, pretty good. I'm going to get some chili." And I think that was genuinely something that just happened because he was like it felt too real. It felt like something that actually happened when they were in New York and they were just filming this guy just as like a fucking cowboy until the scene, and they just ended up walking into a New York City prostitute, and she like flips him off and everything when he denies her. It's so fucking funny.
I wish I got to fucking watch it.
Oh, we'll do a watch
party.
Do a reprise.
I will gladly watch that movie again.
Yeah,
I definitely want to give it another go because I feel like I was pretty hard on it. Like I feel kind of bad that I gave it kind of a shit rating, but I still think there was still some good moments in it. I mean, like I think the one joke they used like consistently throughout the whole thing is his bitch slap. Or sorry,
his pimp slap.
Bitch slap is so good.
My favorite bit with the pimp slap is he's like up on a ladder and he's like painting the sheriff sign, and there's like a bunch of hecklers, and like Vanilla Ice is one of the hecklers. Like there's like a super short like 2-second cameo from Vanilla Ice. And this one dude's heckling him, and he turns around and he like pimp slaps him. But he's like, the dude is standing probably like 5 feet away from the ladder, and Shaggy's at the top of the ladder anyway, but like he's able to fucking pimp slap him.
Yeah, and he's like holding with both hands on the ladder. And he's got like things in his hands, but there's just this disembodied hand that just slaps people in the face every time, and it's like from impossible distances.
That's
and it's like
beautiful.
The one bit I think that killed me with the pimp slap bit is that there's a bunch of guys sitting in the jail cell, and he just starts slapping all of them in the cell. But then there's this one part where one of them's like, "Stop!" And he's like caressing like the fake hand, like you could tell it's like a fake arm that they were using to hit them with, and it's like caressing his face and rubbing. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna slap you again." I love disembodied, like, fake-looking shit. It just makes me lose it. It's so funny. It's the same thing with, like, ragdolls in movies. When you could tell that that's a fucking dummy, I lose it. Like in Catwoman, where fucking Sharon...
They do it in this movie.
They do it in the movie.
They do, and it was really funny until it ended up going on for too long, and then I went, "Oh, this isn't it."
No, that's why it was funny. It was
that's like the charm of these movies.
30 seconds of just a guy thrashing a dummy around.
Yeah, he's just literally trashing a dummy, and it's like, and then it hard cuts to the actual person again. Like, it's something. It's really something.
I fucking love there's a reveal in the movie. There's like a reveal, and it turns out like someone pulls a mask off and it's a dude. And the guy's like sitting there, and he's like, "We had sex." It's just all he says. That's all he thinks about it.
He's like, "We had sex," and he's like, "That's the thing I like the best."
like when that happens, it's Bridget the midget fucking rips her face off and it's a dude, and fucking Shaggy starts like fucking dry heaving, and he's like, "We had sex."
It's the only part I liked, and I
Oh,
was like,
God.
God damn it, that was funny.
Oh, it was so good.
And then Jason Mewes is in it, and like, I mean, there's like a big fucking star cast in it. It's insane. I think Kayla yeah, Ron Jeremy's in it. Fucking, there's like a bunch of wrestlers. Like, you kept pointing out, like,
Yeah.
especially at the end.
Yeah, I think Sabu is in it, who's a hardcore wrestling legend. There's a dude who like is sitting at the welcome to, what is it, Mudbug?
Mudbug.
Yeah, and it has like the population, and like every time someone enters town or like dies or something, he changes the number and he says a little quip. And like the entire movie, I was like, he looked so familiar, but like I couldn't quite place him. And then like the very end of the movie happens, he does his last little quip. It's like a little after credits scene. And I realized it was Scott Hall, who is like a WWE Hall of Famer. Hall and Nash, Razor Ramon, like very like he was like the guy for a while. Razor Ramon.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the movie. There's a few people. Too Tough Tony plays the Foot.
The Foot.
Yeah.
DJ Clay is in it. Mikey Clark again.
Marky Clark, yeah.
Like it was a great cast actually. I and that's the thing, is I'm always astounded that like they were able to get the people they were able to get. But I guess it's like it just goes to show like how popular really ICP is to like a very niche group of people, and like they still have like the lure to get people to do things like this, and it's kind of insane. But I love it and I respect it. And I thought it was, regardless of what, like anything, I still had an absolute blast watching these two movies. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you watch one of them, you got to watch the other.
Oh,
it's just how it is.
Like, in my opinion, one's not better than the other. They're both better in parts and worse in other parts, but like they're the same level of enjoyment.
They are in fact the same movie.
Yeah.
Literally, the ending of the first movie is literally how they end the second movie. It's exactly the same. It's ridiculous.
It's
like, there's like at the end of each film, like the main character will wipe off Violent J's face paint and reveal that it's a totally different person. It's not even Violent J. It's like, who is the real person underneath the face paint? And it turns out to be like a completely different actor. And they're like, it's so-and-so. And then they like freak out. It's like Scooby-Doo fucking levels of shit. It's so funny. And then like the end of the movie is like always a shootout. It always, like the end credits is always going to be a shootout.
It was great.
So the first movie's at a church, which is bizarre for their Christianity. You know, hey, we're going to shoot up a church. And then... and then the second movie is a saloon, so it's like really like something. But yeah,
I love Sweet Baby. I can't remember what he is in the Russell's movie, but his goons. Twisted.
It's Twisted. And I don't remember what their names were in the second movie, but they were Lil Poot and Big Stank.
They were in the first movie. The same character names from the first film.
They were similar character names. They weren't the same. It was like Dusty Poot and something else.
Oh, okay. I thought they were the same names.
Tumbleweed Stank.
The like one of the main guys, his name is like Dirty Sanchez. It's like as lowbrow humor as you can fucking get.
That got me too. It was Dirty Sanchez. He was Hispanic, and they kept calling him a gringo, which is what Hispanic people call non-Hispanic people.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's so many layers. There's so many layers to these movies that I think. I mean, it's easy to miss some of these jokes, or there's some times where I'm like, you know what, whatever, okay.
I recommend, please watch. Put it on your watch list.
There's a bit with Mick Foley at the end of the first movie where he starts doing like one of his catchphrases for a character, but like if you know anything about Mick Foley, you know the faces of Foley. He's played like a ton of different characters. So he plays Cactus Sack in Big Money Hustlers, which is like a offshoot of Cactus Jack, which is a character he did in the WWE. But he like will start to do catchphrases from his other characters, from like Dude Love and Mankind, and he like pulls out Mr. Sacco at one point, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" and he like throws it away. He just keeps doing these like old catchphrases, but then he'll like stop before he finishes them, and he's like, no, that's not it. What is it? And he's like keeps going through them like throughout the match. Like he just keeps trying to figure out like what his catchphrase is.
It's so funny.
He lands on
So
it
good.
eventually. I can't remember which one it was.
I don't either, but
He's like, yeah.
he went through like all of them. Yeah.
I like the part where he lands like into a piece of spiked steak wood, and then he goes, "A stake to the heart, not again." like it happened once before. Yeah, it's like earlier in the week I got stabbed in the heart with a steak. Not a big deal. It's so like that's the stuff that I loved about it. It was so fucking charming. Like the one guy's eating like fucking noodles, and then he opens up the fortune cookie and says, "We're going to be killed." And then he's like, "Oh," and he gets shot in the head and dies. It's so fucking funny. I was like,
I love that.
Gun that has like their DNA in it.
Yeah, the whole
like,
the fucking like ninja seeking gun. Or they just like how do we like get rid of the bad guys? They're like, oh, he just gets a gun that can magically has like ninja seeking bullets. Like they literally had a whole scene where this scientist like made these devices that just instant kill all of the enemies he has to fight.
It's the Deus Ex. It's the Deus.
It's the cleanest wrap up. It's the cleanest wrap up. All the loose ends are tied.
It was
but
so
it's
good.
done in such a like you could tell it's definitely parodying like James
I mean, yeah, it was done in like a very endearing way and very like very self-aware. Like they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, which makes it really fun, and that's what I really love about it. So that was for me. It was too good. It was super good.
Fantastic film. Everyone watch it. Watch both.
Yeah, no. If you can't be sold on their music, please watch their movies. It's actually worth it. It really is. It's super funny. So, that's coming from the guy who's not in fucking Juggalo face paint right now.
Can't believe it, Ryan.
Fucked
I know.
Up.
I hate that. I have. Yeah. No, don't worry. I'll make a separate video to put on our channel to where I just dump Fago over my head.
Yeah, Ryan, get the Fago shower.
Make it up. I'll do the Fago shower for everyone, and we'll post that on the. I'll have Kayla record it for me.
I'll do it.
Hell yeah!
Cool. We'll do that then. So I'll order some Fago off the internet.
And I feel like that about. I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Our deep dive into the Insane Clown Posse.
Oh my god.
The Insane Clown Posse up to like 2002.
Yeah, up till we're still like 20 years behind on all their other shit.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a part 2. If they make a third movie, we'll have like a part 2.
I don't know about that because I mean,
Ryan couldn't handle
we
it.
didn't really. No. They had a lot of falling out with the people that were involved in movies number 1 and 2, so that's like the biggest issue because like Twisted and all of them they left the record label and they kind of had bad blood. Literally, we found like diss tracks from ICP and Twisted sending it to each other, so they kind of really don't like it. And a lot of the people that were involved in like those stuff like Dark Lotus and everything like that, like they're not a part of Psychopathic. So I couldn't see them making a third movie, but who knows? Maybe they'll try to get new blood in there and try to insert new people and do more. Because if they can, I mean, hey, I'll watch it. I'll still watch it. But hopefully, it's kind of sad that there is a lot of bad blood now, between all of them.
And like a lot of interviews with Twisted they're like really sad about like they very clearly like miss their friends Like they seem to feel really bad about it, even though they kind of participate in the diss tracks. It still feels very one-sided. It feels like ICP is like fucking hates them. Like it felt so much like stronger in their diss track. Like Twisted was still like coming at them, but like it felt different between the two.
Yeah, it definitely did.
I want to hurt him, but like not a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because he still cares. It's homies.
Personally,
are homies.
I'm more of a Twisted fan than I am ICP. Like if I walked out of this at all, I was like, dude, I actually kind of like Twisted. I was gonna be honest. Like
Twisted is so much better.
I will listen to their music actually. Like actively, I've started listening to a bunch of their songs, and I really like it. So I like their sound so much more. I think they just. So, I don't know. For me, I don't know if I'm gonna be a Juggalo, but I'll definitely be a Twisted.
A
Twistalo.
Yeah, I'll be a Twistalo. All right.
Perfect. All
Beautiful.
right, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate.
Thank you for having
everyone.
me.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for coming on, Kayla. Thank you for being here. Being our looking glass into ICP culture and Juggalos. Thank you guys for watching and for chatting. We see you guys commenting on the video, so we appreciate all the love and support and the watch. And we're excited to figure out what we're gonna do next week too. Do we want to? Yeah, I think. Do we want to just discuss maybe between ourselves what we're gonna do?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, maybe next week we'll ask for another audience suggestion.
Maybe we could do it like switch them off.
Yeah, we could, that way we could do. It'd be cool, interactive between our audience and everything.
Hell yeah.
But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again, Kayla, for coming on, being the guest host for the week. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. I have an outro that I used to memorize, and I'm still working on memorizing it. Something. Maybe the true Juggalos were the homies you made along the way.
Beautiful.
So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Goodbye.
So long, everybody.
So long.
So long.